Marjorie Taylor Greene has said that she might be taking legal action against Twitter for what? Violating her freedom of speech because presumably they suspended her, banned her. Wow. So we're going to watch this, and then I want to discuss, because this is a common thing. Oh, whenever I get banned, it's a violation of my freedom of speech, and just kind of discuss the specifics of that and some things that I think are relevant in relation to that talking point.
You take some legal action as a private citizen.
Yes, I've already talked to an attorney. I spoke with him last week, John, because I believe these are it's a complete violation of my freedom of speech. I was a private citizen and I'm owed damages. They have no right to do this to me. I just need to find out how many people I need to name on lawsuits and the social media companies. I've had enough of it. You know, I'm the only sitting member of Congress that had my personal account permanently banned by Twitter for so-called COVID misinformation.
You take some legal action as a private
citizen. Wow. Marjorie Taylor Greene suing over not being allowed on Twitter. So, okay, what is the relevance of this in a larger sense? A lot of people use that talking point, that you getting suspended or having a post taken down or you being banned, and in her case permanently, is a violation of your freedom of speech. And I want you to know before I say what I'm about to say that I recognize it has become the place where people talk, where they share their views and all of those things. And so it's important to discuss what should the lines be. It is very upsetting when you do have your account suspended or banned, all those things, absolutely. And we'll discuss where we should draw those lines in a second. But first, in a technical sense, everyone needs to be aware. It is not true, and why she is not going to have any chance of this lawsuit going anywhere, that it's a violation of your First Amendment to not be allowed on a social media site. That is so untrue, it hurts me physically. I'm in physical pain hearing that level of illogic. Is that even a noun? But here's why. The First Amendment outlines what Congress, what the government can and can't do. So the government cannot violate your ability to speak. The government cannot take away your First Amendment right or your freedom of speech. That is true. That is 100% true. And if Congress was making laws that prevented Marjorie Taylor Greene from having a Twitter account, now that's a different question. Or if Congress was making laws saying that Marjorie Taylor Greene couldn't say certain things, that's a different question. That would be in the First Amendment box. Twitter is a private company. Twitter is like a business that you would walk into in person. And businesses that you would walk into in person have rules when you go in. Now, just like how if you walk into a store on Main Street to get a t-shirt and they can't discriminate against you based on certain things, your race, your religion, I don't think Twitter would be able to do that either, and they shouldn't be able to, and that would be horrible and all those things. But just banning you because you violated their terms of service, because you spread certain types of information that they've deemed dangerous enough where they're going to take it off of their platform, that is just like you walking into a store and being told you have to wear a t-shirt. No shirt, no shoes, no service. That's the policies that a private company gets to have in a legal sense. Okay. Now, does that mean they're the same in a societal effect sense? No. And that's where you get into the conversation of where should we draw these lines now that social media has become so incredibly significant within the way in which we communicate and the voice in which we're allowed to have. And that's a very nuanced and fascinating conversation. I think there are some instances where people should be taken off of platforms when they're doing dangerous enough things. But I recognize right now the policies can be a little loosey-goosey and they're not very transparent. And so people will get banned for reasons they don't know why, or there will be a kind of censor campaign and a bunch of people will report someone even when they haven't actually done something worthy of getting banned, and the certain platform will ban the person anyways because they got enough reports, whatever. There's so many changes that need to be made, but people need to understand in a technical legal sense, there's no connection between Twitter banning Marjorie Taylor Greene and her First Amendment right. And it's a little bit concerning that as a congresswoman who should be familiar with the laws and familiar with the fact that the First Amendment refers to what Congress, or I think it could be expanded, the sentiment towards the government, even though it uses the word Congress, what they can do, not what a private company that can have its own terms of service can do. So it's a clear distinction. This is why her lawsuit will go nowhere. But it's not to say that censorship isn't a big deal, that we shouldn't socially and societally get more clear on where we want those lines to be so that no one is disproportionately hurt within the political world or whatever. But I think you need to understand that. I think everyone who makes that point over and over needs to understand that. And they don't, because it's good for them politically to pretend like they're being completely targeted, their First Amendment right, and they're such a victim and blah, 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 blah. No.